Thank you so much for joining us here today. The Keep It Simple podcast is all about meeting people that are doing different things. Today, I talk with Danita Sands. She runs Pathways Recovery in Sacramento, helping people with substance abuse get their life straight. Um, I'm not going to talk about all the things we talk about, but I will say this one thing. The one thing that she's doing and just did that is different than most people in your life is she just figured out that she could pay someone to do her laundry, which doesn't just free her up from doing laundry, it frees her mind up from thinking about it. And now she's more focused on the things that are more important to her. So please enjoy this episode. Danita, thank you for joining me on Keep It Simple podcast.
My pleasure, Brian. I'm super
Uh,
excited to be here. Thanks for thinking of me today.
yeah. Well, we've tried this before. We had some technical
Yeah,
issues.
we
So
did.
we just threw that in the trash can,
Yeah,
started all over. Okay. The
cool.
technical
That
issues
sounds
was that
good.
my face could be seen so well. So
Yeah, we were having
so
some weird technical difficulties, but you know what? Sometimes those things
we
just kind of
were.
happen for just like the way they're supposed to. I'm learning to let those things go and just roll with it. So yeah,
Exactly. Oh, you got it. I was talking to someone the other day, and there's things that are going on in my life or my business that you can't control, and you're panicking about and thinking about, and you have to at some point you have to just go, wait, my health, my mental health is more important, and I need to
yeah,
let go of the things I'm not in control of. You
yes,
know.
yes. It's
So
so true, and that has been something that has been I've been really working on because it goes way back, right? We all come into our adult life with all these things that happen in our childhood, and we have no idea that there's like this other stuff underneath. It's like kind of driving the show. But someone sent me
yeah.
a little clip yesterday, and it was God. I gotta find it because it was really good. Um, and yesterday was actually my birthday, and so
Oh, happy
yeah, I
birthday!
celebrate. Thanks. Yeah, it was
24 or
actually
25?
yeah, 25, you know.
Okay. Okay. I knew. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it was a big one actually. And so I was yeah, just this time of year in my business gets kind of slow. And so I get a little panicky as we all probably do when business gets slow, but it's a seasonal slow that we know is always going to happen. And here was the clip that I got. It said, um, your need for certainty makes you anxious. And so it was one of those things. I mean, there's a little video that goes along with it and Instagram and everything. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's the hardest thing for us to let go of is when things aren't going exactly the way that we want them to go.
It's
But
so
sometimes we
so
have to just let
true.
that go. Yeah, it's not
So
easy.
true.
Easier said than done.
My dad used to say, when things slow down, go take a vacation. And I
Yes,
and in my life, it's like, no, when things slow down, panic, you know,
right.
and then okay, oh, they're speeding up. Okay, do the work. And then ultimately, my dad was right because I never go on
Yeah,
vacation. You
yeah,
know, so
yeah.
you have to.
Exactly. You have to kind of take that step in stride and know that sometimes there's seasons and the year, at least in my
Yeah.
world, there's seasons that come when it's just traditionally slower, and it's easy to get sucked into the panic of that because we're revenue
Well,
driven, got to pay the bills and keep people
got to pay the
employed.
bills,
That's
and
what
yeah,
makes
and
everything work.
the thing about it is most of the time it's not I got to pay the bills. It's I'm worried about paying the bills down the road. So I'm working my
Oh,
tail off
totally.
so that I never
Yeah.
get to that point. But yeah,
Yes.
anyway, so let's talk
Yep.
about you. So
Okay.
the Danita Sands is well, I guess a client of mine, if you want to call it. I call you partner.
Yeah,
You've done some funding with me. We're
we
working on
have.
that, but
Yeah.
that's not your full-time gig. I wanna know a little bit
Yeah.
more about what you do and what you're doing that's different than other people, and I know that you have a amazing business. So tell me a little bit about yeah, tell me about what you do.
Yeah, so I, for the last 15 years, have been fortunate to be involved in something I never anticipated being involved in, but I get to run and lead an organization that helps. We provide care for those that are recovering from substance abuse. So, mental health and substance abuse has become a big topic in the last few years, and we've seen lots of change, but yes, for the last 15 years,
Yeah.
we have residential levels of care and intensive outpatient programming for people who are ready to find a better way of coping with stresses of life other than using substances as they've become destructive in their life. So, yeah, so we get to do that. I have a team of about 30 people in several locations in Northern California, and that's what we do.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
the Lord's work, as they say. In real estate, and I'm sure you've probably dealt with this enough because you're dabbling into real estate as well with me. Um, there's a thing called co-living,
Yes.
and co-living is helping people who maybe don't have a
Yeah.
lot of money, but they need a place to stay. And
Yes.
which is in my mind, it's in line with people that you're helping, which is
Yes,
people who are
very much
in some
so.
kind of transition. Yeah, some kind of
It is.
transition, right?
It's
And
interesting because as I became, familiar with that and, Pace's videos and things like that on, the co-living situation, I was like, "Oh," I was like, "My industry's been doing this for decades. This is something that we call, like SLE or sober living environment," and yeah, very, very common model, and it's very, very needed, for people who transition from environments of care like what we have where it's a much more intensive 24-hour facility to maybe people aren't ready to 100% go back to either living at home or living alone or living with a lot of adults who have been living with parents and things like that need something that's more supportive and so yeah, sober living environments were very, very similar to the co-living
right.
environments that
And
are
and well,
becoming
and
popular
I
now.
think but I think the transition goes, like I said, beyond that, which is the
Mhm.
way our society is with the cost of things. It used to be, like I
Yes.
said, it was transitioning from, a facility that you're like that you help people in to,
Mhm.
transition now. But I think it's people who haven't had those problems. They just
Right.
can't, they can't
Yeah.
bring, they're used to living with someone, or a parent can't can't keep them in their household anymore or
Yeah.
whatever. I think there's also and it's expanding for sure, and that's a big
Definitely.
topic in the real estate world that, I'm paying attention to.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
Yeah.
I say it's God's worth because I'm into long term. I want long term tenants. I don't. I'm not. I Let me say it this way. I've been lucky enough in my life that I haven't had those such a down moment that I've had to depend on these facilities and
Yeah.
these projects. And so I think naturally with that, I'm just not comfortable with it.
Sure.
So
Oh, yeah.
my
Yeah,
portfolio,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's not, it's. I mean, you could say that I'm afraid or whatever else, but for me, I want my portfolio, my real estate, to have
Mhm.
what I think of as typical. Hey, mother, father, maybe single mother who has kids, and put them in a nice place. I haven't really
Sure.
gotten to the point where I'm like, well, there's people in need that need my help. A little bit
Right.
further past where my comfort zone is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it, like I said,
definitely.
it's God's work, and I thank you for that. I thank you for stepping
Yeah,
in it
thank
because
you.
I
Yeah,
can't do it.
it really was I say too, it was God's hand who put me into all of this because it was never something I aspired to do, but the journey on how I got there is another long story. But yeah, it's most of us who work in the field have some experience on one side or the other of experiencing
Yeah,
the deep dark depths of where addiction can lead people, and then the beauty of transformation, and when people come to the other side. And so that's most of the people in who work in this field have some experience on that level. So yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's.
I love it.
It's a
We
yeah,
met at a real estate meetup.
we
Um,
did.
that's what figuring out how to do other, for lack of a better term, how to diversify what we're doing.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
I'd like to beyond what you're called a 9 to 5. What
Yeah.
else are you trying to do? Why did I meet you at a real estate event?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, it's interesting because 'cause I've always, it's just funny sometimes when you get a little bit of, a couple decades behind you and you look back and you go, "Oh, never saw that coming." These different things that come about, and I've always had an
Yeah,
interest in real estate. I was very young. I needed to, I needed to get going, with something, financial on a financial level. I mean, I had some other aspirations. I was very interested in mental health and psychiatry and psychology and all those things, but I was like, I can't spend 10 years in school. So it's always very entrepreneurial, but had this interest in behavioral health. And it was a couple years interning the business that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the business of behavioral health. Those were the two things at a young age that I really was interested in. And then
interesting.
yeah, yeah, and then fast forward, to my very early 20s, and, I actually got licensed as a real estate agent when I was, I think, 23 years old, and I started learning all of that and selling real estate, and I did that, from 2003 until 2000, I think 2011 or 12 was about the time that I think I had my last real estate transaction, and I was kind of doing both back here and there, doing some other things. I've always been very entrepreneurial, but
Yeah,
so yeah, I stopped selling real estate, but I always kept my eye on the pulse. And as my business grew and the need for, um, resident, I mean, we operate out of residential locations, and
right.
so
So that's
yeah,
your
so
real
that
estate.
was something. It was a yeah, I was able and very fortunate enough to be able to find um the first facility that
Yeah,
the very first facility that we operated in was a resident. That was an investment property that with a partner and myself, and we started in that location. It's just a funny story on how it all happened. But eventually, fast forward in 2019, a local healthcare organization contacted us and wanted to partner. It was right before the pandemic, and yeah, literally in March of 2020, our contract went active, and it was very slow for the first few weeks as everything in the world kinda just stopped.
everything was, yeah,
And
and no one knew what to do. They
yeah,
didn't want to
no one knew what
move.
to
Yeah.
do. Yeah, and our phones just went completely dead. I sent everyone home. I knew we had
Panic.
this new
As a
contract with the
business
healthcare
owner,
organization.
yeah, as a
Yeah.
business owner, that's Panicville right there,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, it was,
Yeah.
but it was also but everybody was like that, and so we were all different organizations who, we rarely ever see or talk with each other, and we're all picking up the phones and talking to each other, and then it was about 5 weeks in, and our phones, all of a sudden, it was like calls, calls, call, and it was just a flood for 2 years. So it became very, at that time, we had a 6-bed location. So the need to expand became paramount. Like it's quite a process to find, acquire, furnish, license, and staff a facility. It takes about a year to a year and a half.
I would say.
So, yeah. So it took me about a year and a half to find the property. So it took a long time. I was fortunate enough to be able to acquire that location. And so I get to also I'm like, I have a separate business where I invest with my sister. We own one of the houses that we operate in. And
Right.
then also, then fast forward a couple of years later, another property that just matched the criteria of what we were looking for, kind of in the area where we operate, and that became available. And I thought, well, I'm going to give this a try. I don't know if a lender is going to give me the funding for this, but so we were able to acquire that one as well, with a little bit of help and support from family. And so yeah, so two of the three residential
Amazing.
locations that we operate out of, I get to own. So that
Good. So you
was
have
scary as heck.
you have a business that, yeah, you have a business inside of a
Yeah,
business. I
I
love it.
do.
It's
Yeah.
funny. That's kind of what brought me to real estate. I mean, a little bit different, but I just remember I had an insurance business, as you may know, and
Hmm.
I was renting for all those years, and I remember thinking to myself, "Man, if I would have just figured out how to buy my office, you know?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
own this office outright now, you know, and I never
Yeah.
did. I mean that and so that's what got me clicking in, wait, okay, it's too late for me to go figure that out, but maybe I can go start. And I started I lived in San Diego. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
expenses, were too high, so
Expensive.
I started buying across the country because that's where I could
Yeah.
afford, but the fact of the matter is, it's like, at some point, you realize, wait, real estate is where the wealth is built,
Yeah,
and
it's
if
where
I
the
can
wealth
and
is
in your
built
case
and yeah, exactly, and the one thing this year, especially that I'm starting to understand and really be able to appreciate is the depreciation on those properties is really helping to
yeah,
offset some of the, tax liability of the business and me personally, and so I'm knee deep in figuring a lot of things out that I didn't have to
yeah,
deal with before, taxes and different entity structures and all that stuff is stuff that I have not only is it you do need a professional to help walk you through it, but you need the right one who knows because there's so many who don't
it's
they're
the right partner.
yeah, right,
You know,
yes,
it's and that's everything. It's finding the right partner, whether it be your spouse or whoever you're gonna be tied, because you're married to these
yeah,
people ultimately,
yes,
and yeah, you finding the
yes,
right partner is the hardest part of this business, I find.
it
And it's
is.
actually what I would consider my strong point, and it's still the hardest part of this
Mhm.
business.
Yeah, well, it's one
So,
of the things that really
I
attracted
love
me
that.
to working with you is just how you manage the transactions all the
Thank
way
you.
through and that like I know at any time I
Yeah.
can that just made a profound difference in my ability to feel like I could yeah, I could invest with you and not feel I felt secure and comfortable that you
Oh,
were a part of
thank
the
you.
transaction all the way through. Yeah, and so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I
I'm
appreciate that.
looking forward to be able to do more of that.
Yeah, we're working on that. Yours should be coming back soon, hopefully. I'm working on
Yeah,
it.
I think so. Yeah, Renee was
Yeah.
just mentioning that the other day, and I'm like, "Well, we have a spreadsheet, or we can just call
Yep,
Brian." She
yep.
was like, I can just contact
Yeah.
Brian," which
Well,
is
I
nice.
reached out to her a few times.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
elusive. She's behind the scenes. She's working.
And she is. She has been such an instrumental part because she also, she's my executive assistant and handles so much within the company. And her job over the last couple of years has been to kind of insulate and protect me from all the stuff that comes, and so she handles HR and payroll and, ordering supplies for all the locations, and, she handles a lot, and
What a
one of the
great partner to
properties
have
oh my
and a
gosh,
sister.
it's
That's so
amazing
cool.
because she and I are so fortunate to be we're sisters, but we also have the type of and I understand that not everybody has this type of relationship with their sibling where
Yeah.
they can just trust I can trust her. I trust her with my life, and she feels the
Yeah.
same way with me, and I know that, um, yeah, we're partners in this, and so, she called me a little while ago earlier, and she goes, "Hey, we've got some payroll issues
Uh,
going on right
yeah, yeah,
now."
yeah.
She brings it to my attention when she knows that something needs to
Mhm.
intend to happen from my end, so but she's
Yeah, no,
working on
exactly.
all
That's what
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's your sister, but that's what a good partner does is they
Yeah.
know how to figure the things out
Yeah.
in a systematic way versus a panic mode way, right?
Right.
And
Yes. Yeah.
sometimes, it like you said earlier, some of these things that we're worried about that are totally uncontrollable. And so sometimes is okay, I'm gonna handle this in a calm way because
Yeah.
there's no better way to do it, even though I want to scream at
Right.
times, right? So
Yeah,
so
it's
I always
definitely been
like
a
to ask,
journey.
like, what do you think that you do that's different than other people? What's
Mm,
unique about how you're running your thing? Because a lot of the people who listen to this podcast, or I hope they're going to listen to this podcast,
yeah,
are looking to find not necessarily the way, because your way is different than my way, and I don't want to do it your way, and you don't want to do mine. But what
mhm,
I think what people need, there's a lot of people out there who are just doing what they've been told, show up to work 9 to 5, hope that there's a pension at the end type thing, and there's nothing wrong with that unless you have a problem. If you're doing it and you have a problem with that, I feel like I did that for a long time. Although I did own my own business, all those
Mhm.
years, but I was an insurance agent, so I was under the thumb of the insurance world, and
Right.
they made the decisions and I had to adapt to them. And I
Yeah.
was complaining about it, and then I realized, wait, I need to just take some action. I started buying real estate. That was my
Yeah.
way of saying, no, I'm not going to let the world control me.
Yeah. I can
What do you
relate
think
to
you're
that.
doing in that way? What are you
Yeah.
doing, so that people could go, wait, me, if Danita can do that, then maybe I can do that
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. So within my business, um,
in life.
I
I
think
don't care.
yeah, and in life, yeah. And yeah, within my business right now, I'm actually really working on um kind of making some changes that have always been very important to me in the
Okay.
care that we provide, but really leaning into that more. It is in when you're talking the insurance world, boy, that's a big, big world, right? And that's something that we deal with. We are working with most people who are coming through a treatment center are utilizing health insurance. Now it's different than what probably I'm assuming your insurance was different than health insurance. Yeah.
I
So,
did sell health
mhm,
insurance, but yeah, yeah, I was on the
yeah,
sales side, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yes,
that's a
insurance is
world that
tough.
is yeah, it is. Healthcare is it's just yeah, it's crazy. I've seen so many changes with that, and so Um, and
Me
I'm a
too.
within our organization, I'm a big proponent of, yeah, but I've always felt like diet, health, and nutrition and wellness is very important to our mental health. And that, going back to 2015 was not a common conversation. Um, Nowadays, there is so much more evidence-based information that is showing that. I mean, I have a guy that I follow that talked about how there was a statistic that came out, and I don't know where it came from, find the information, but 53% of 53% of people who eat like a predominantly processed food diet have depression, or 53% of depression comes from food. I don't know, something along those lines. So how we treat our bodies and what we put into our bodies and everything affects our physical health, but so also very much our mental health. So,
Yeah.
that was a big conversation. That's something that we're
So,
working on really
that
becoming more
ties in
clear on.
that ties into something that I think about a lot. I'm not I'm old, okay? Old people don't,
I
adapt to
think I
things
just turned
like
old
young
yesterday.
people do, okay? No, you're still 25, so you're good. Um, but social media, to me,
Mhm.
in my mind, it's bad. It's
Yeah,
done bad things, but in
yeah.
the reverse of that, what else has
Mhm.
social media done? Well, a
Yeah.
lot of things are being uncovered that were just coverable before,
Mhm.
and our
Yes.
food, our food supply, and
Yeah.
just being open to, hey, I follow this guy who has some good thoughts. That guy you would have
Mhm.
never seen without social
Yes.
media. So you
So
have to like
true.
you can blame social media for, a lot
Yeah.
of bad things, but we got to give some kudos for putting us in a position where
Absolutely.
we understand
Like,
things better.
absolutely. We were having dinner with a couple last night that, they're in their, late 20s. They're both nurses and very ambitious but the things that they have access to at their age for the last
Yeah,
10 years
it's crazy.
now compared to what we had available to us at the same age. I mean, it was like I lived at the bookstore. I didn't have Audible. I didn't have YouTube. I mean, wow, that information is so powerful these days. So in some ways it's really amazing. And it's like anything, right? Like, yeah, we all
Yeah,
have some junk food once in a while and indulge. I mean, heck, I sure did that yesterday. But
yeah.
it's
On the
understanding how that all works.
on the topic, on the like the social media topic, there's one comedian out there who I thought this line is so classic. She's like, back in the day, we had a thing where we would listen to one side of a story or an issue and another side of a
Mhm.
story and an issue, and we would make our own decision what
Yeah,
we thought. And I thought to myself,
yeah,
if we can just get to the point where we still have that mindset of
yeah,
thinking about things, listening to both sides, and then making our own decision, but
yeah,
also have all the information that's coming at us and be able
yeah.
to utilize that, the
Mhm.
potential is amazing. I just, it just sometimes it's just frustrating for me. I'm just like I said, it's just coming too fast for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That is actually, and I'll tell you a topic that's really becoming because of all that. I recently joined another community that's really amazing, and also local to Arizona. But have you ever heard of Genius Network, Joe Polish?
I've heard of it. I don't know much about
Yeah,
it though.
pretty interesting. And it's kind of a long story how I got into that too, but um, they recently had their annual event, and a big topic of conversation. It's brings together entrepreneurs and high level people that are doing amazing things, and I really decided I needed to add that to my
You
life because
strive, yeah.
I did. I needed to for the combination of the five people, right, that we spend the most time with, and I was like, oh, I need to make some changes here. So, um, yeah, which has
Wait,
been
wait,
really
you've been
cool.
spending time with me. Come on now.
Yeah, no, I want to spend more time with you, Brian. I really do. I really do. We always have the greatest
Mm,
conversations.
we
But
do.
a big topic is people are having like media fasts, and they are detaching
Love
and
that.
making intentional time to detach from the social
Love
media,
that.
the email, the text messages,
Yeah.
and because what they're finding, and I definitely am recognizing this, and it actually gave me kind of more permission to work on trying to find this, is that we start to lose our creativity and our passion and our like what is really important because I mean, the number of sales calls and text messages and everything that I get every day. I mean, I think I counted it yesterday. I mean, you probably, I think, I don't know, by 4 o'clock, I had like 43 different text message strands. And with each, some of those have no conversation, so I'm just not replying. And other
Yeah,
ones,
yeah.
there's a lot of conversation going back and forth there. And so that combined with the phone calls and the emails that I only get, some of them. And so
Yeah.
I really am working on, as I step into this new decade of my life, going, okay, what do I really want to be intentional about? And, you know, yeah, it's been
Yeah.
an interesting couple of
Yeah.
months.
I'm struggling with this myself.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I'm trying to build a business and
Yeah,
can't do that without putting effort and time and energy into
right.
that. But
Yeah,
when do you shut down? When do you turn, the phone in your
yeah,
hand? You got a computer, a massive computer in your hand at all times,
yes,
and it's like, when do I shut this down?
yeah,
When do I say, "Hey, this is a great
right.
tool, but it's just a tool. It's not my life. Put it aside." And it's always striking to me when you go into a doctor's office now or
Hmm.
someone's office where there's other people you don't know and no one looks at each other.
I
They just got their
know.
and it's very
Yeah,
sad,
yeah.
and I think, we need to find ways to yeah, shut it down, and
Yeah,
it's not
and
so
be
easy.
intentional about what it is we really wanna do because everything is screaming for our attention, and, that is something. I mean, I joined this networking group because I there's I mean, even the sub-2 community where we have met, I have not immersed myself into that
No,
nearly as much as I want to. I just don't like running
well,
a company with 30 employees just
no,
sucks
no, no.
everything out of me every day.
So just if you go in that little microcosm of real estate, right? There's realtors, there's,
Mhm.
estimators, there's lenders,
Yes.
there's then
Yes.
you can go into co-living and mobile homes and RV parks and
Right.
apartment buildings and single family houses and
Yeah.
all these things. And like I'm a long-term buy and hold person. I like to buy something,
Yeah.
fix it up, rent it, hold it.
Yeah.
And I someone asked me that, "Oh, so what are you looking for right now?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking for multifamily.
Mhm.
However, I'm not looking for anything for right now.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on the one thing, which is my lending, business. I'm focusing
Right.
here because that's where I need all my energy right now." And
Right.
like you said, I get
Yeah.
same thing as you. I get 80 emails a day, and I'm
Yeah.
literally deleting things just really quick because I'm like, I'm not gonna go talk to this guy about,
Yeah.
something else that I don't need to be
Yeah.
looking at right now. And
Yeah.
sorry, if you have a good idea, good for you, but I gotta
Yeah.
focus, and
You
so
really
yeah.
do. That's one of the
Yeah.
things I'm working on right now too. Have you read the book Who Not How?
Mhm. I sure have.
So that's actually what led me to, um, the Genius Network community because 'cause they're really involved with,
Okay.
Ben Hardy wrote that book, and he was at this event, and there was all those people there, and
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, so
Yeah. That's a hard
yeah,
thing to do, though. I mean, you met Jake here at the beginning of my our podcast.
yeah,
He's my who, because
yes,
I'm not this. This is not gonna be
right,
my genre.
yep,
Taylor is my partner, and so you have your sister. Yeah, we have to
yeah,
find the who's, but it's
yeah,
so hard because I'll
it
get
is.
that done. I'll get it done. I got this.
Yeah, exactly, and I actually, it gave me permit that book gave me permission to do a couple of things that I had kind of instinctually kind of been I was like, "Oh, I don't know, that just seems kind of" but it's such a simple thing, but I now have my laundry picked up and taken care of. It gets dropped off on my doorstep, and let
Awesome.
me tell you, this is, like, less than $100 a week. It
Yeah.
is it is so worth it, because when you can, because it's not, "Could I do the laundry and find time to do it and get it folded and put away?" Yes, I can do that, and I can totally do it. But it's not so much the task that it's taking off my plate, it's the focus,
That's right.
because it no longer
It's
requires my
yeah.
attention.
Yes, you can yeah.
So,
You hear
I
about,
am such a
Steve
big proponent of that now.
yeah, was it Steve Jobs that founded he wore the same thing every day, so he just didn't
Oh,
have to think
yeah.
about it, right?
I'm
And
telling you.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah, I
that is a good
so
thing.
that's like that is one nugget that I think that will help, and I love that you did it,
Yeah, I did it.
because
I did
yeah,
it
because
because it's just like, I just
that
thought
will
it would be so really expensive to have something like that done, and I'm like, I'm also really trying to I wanna do other things. And,
well, the
my professional life that I have now is not what I wanna be
yeah.
doing forever.
Well, the fact of the matter is because you did that one thing, it's gonna
Mhm.
relieve you of this, and you're gonna see the picture. "Oh, wait, now I can do that over here now."
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah, because I think
so you're on
that's
the
if you
path for changing that, making changes. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, because it allows me, because it was kind of almost like a experiment, that and getting the house cleaned, it just it opens up a little tiny bit of space to be able to focus on other
Yeah.
things, and I thought, "Okay, I'm gonna try this and see if it actually does open up some space for me." And now I'm like, "Okay, what else can I delegate out that requires a lot of my
Yeah.
time and
You
attention?" And
you
yeah, I got to sit with people at the conference that were doing these things already in their life, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, I've been doing that for so long," and
you
just
you're
yeah.
you're breaking through. I love that. So you're
Mhm.
that's what this podcast is all about. Doing something a little different that
Yeah.
is gonna make you a happier person or a better provider or something different. Just and even if you haven't done all those other things which you're doing differently and amazingly, just that one thing alone is enough for Joe, whoever, to go, "Wait, I never thought about having someone take care of my laundry,"
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I love
It's
that.
really inexpensive, I think,
Love that.
comparatively speaking, right, for what I get back from just knowing that it just shows up on my step perfectly folded and packaged and, like, ready to put
Oh,
away. And that is just it opens up a lot of focus for me, and it's far worth the money for something like that,
Jake, you
so
can cut this out later, but I'm telling you right now, that's gonna be my pitch at the end of this. It's gonna be meet Danita Sands, who has figured out that laundry was the block. I love that. That's gonna
yeah,
be my
well,
pitch.
yeah, and it's funny because, like, in the Sub-2 community, many people are interested in, purchasing laundromats and stuff like that, right? And then within that, they're trying to figure out ways to, generate additional revenue, and so the fluff and fold concept is really taking off.
Oh, it's
So
huge.
yeah, so that's
And
what
it's
it
not going
is.
away, right?
You're
AI is
right.
not gonna replace your clean clothes.
No, exactly. Yeah, and so
I love
that's
it.
yeah, that exactly, yeah.
There we go. Well, thank you for
Yeah,
joining me today and doing all this. This has been amazing.
it's
We're going to
awesome.
continue to grow our relationship and our businesses and our friendship. But thank you for showing your smile, your beautiful smile
Thank
to the
you.
world, and we'll
My
get this out there.
pleasure.
Where would we look into what you're doing? How would we find you? Would it be a would it be a website or social medias? What would be a great way
Oh
to
my
find you?
goodness. I've been so I'm not out there that much, but if you wanted to contact me or for regarding anything, I'm on Facebook. You can find me on
Okay.
Facebook, definitely.
Okay. Is it
And
Danita Sands on Facebook?
yeah, yep, I think it is, and I may have, I should be. Sometimes I've created settings to make myself very private because I just am that kind of person.
It's okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I definitely
how
yeah,
could I
you can
help your
find me out there.
business? Yeah. How could I help
Yeah.
your business? Is your business need marketing on it at all?
Um,
You know,
let's see. Yeah, I mean, we have a great organization, and we're working on growing. Pathways Recovery is my organization in Sacramento, and yeah, we're always happy to collaborate and help people who are needing help, or just have questions. One of my specialties is talking to families who are really lost and understanding how to navigate a loved one with an addiction issue. It can be very complex, yet there are some very, very simple things that can help people affect really positive change so that their loved ones are willing to get help. Because oftentimes that's the problem is people don't want to seek help, but that is workable.
love that. I'm old school. I believe, you fall down, scrape your knee, get up and clean your knee
Hmm.
off and go on, push
Yeah.
through. And my daughter and I talk about this a lot. The way you say things sometimes matters, right? And I don't have all
Sure.
those skills. I'm very blunt sometimes,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'm very caring, but sometimes just knowing those little techniques of how to say something to a young person or, you know,
Yes.
a child is really important. So I appreciate the fact that you
Yeah.
guys have those kind of things that are part of what you do. It's Pathway what? What was it now?
Pa- Pathways Recovery is my organization in Northern California.
Good. I'm gonna see what if we can put that on there.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for this. I've taken enough of your time. I'll be in touch
My
soon
pleasure.
on other
Sounds
things, I'm
good, Brian.
sure.
Yeah,
But
that
thank you
sounds
so
really
much.
good.
Really appreciate